Welcome, Ross Barkley. What a signing. Up the Villa. Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. So on today's episode, I'm reacting to the massive signing of Ross Barkley on a season-long loan. Brilliant. It blew me away, to be fair, when I saw it at work. All the lads were messaging me saying, we've signed him. And I was like, I just couldn't believe it. I think he's such a player. He's such a real good player who's going to make our midfield more complete. I think if you look at our team now, it's all starting to fit together. We've addressed certain areas that need addressing, and we've brought in quality. We've not only brought in signings, we've brought signings that are going to enhance us and make us better and take us to that next level. So Ross Barkley, huge signing. He started his career off at Everton, where he was phenomenal for them, and moved to Chelsea, and things just haven't quite worked out. They've had a lot of managers, Italian managers who like their systems, and he's just not fallen into place. And I think really Chelsea would probably be reluctant to see him go. He's a real good squad player, albeit for them. But obviously, I see him starting for Villa week in, week out, and trying to stamp that claim on an England shirt for the Euros next summer. So massive signing. What do I feel like he brings to Villa? I think he's just going to give us that more guile in midfield. You forget that he's a powerful player as well. You know, he's got a lot of pace. He's really powerful. He's direct at times. He loves a shot. He'll shoot at will. He can hit the top corner quite often as well. And I just think he's that missing piece to our jigsaw. We've got Douglas Luiz, we've got McGinn's energy, and I feel like now we've got that added little bit of quality, which is going to, like I say, enhance the team and move us forward and just make us a lot more dynamic going forward as well. I feel like we've been quite dynamic going forward so far this season anyway, especially in the Fulham game. And I'm just delighted to see him come. I think we've been crying out for a player like this, more of like a marquee statement. Although we've not signed him on a permanent, I feel like it sets a level now. We've all been crying out for top quality players coming in this window. And I feel like we've done that, and we've addressed the issues, like I say, and we've filled the areas that need improving. But Ross Barkley coming in, a top quality signing like that, he's just going to make us better. I think we've had a few problems with these loan deals over the years. You know, we've had Drinkwater, which was an absolute disaster. We've had players like Jermaine Genius coming in, which just don't hit the ground running at all, don't improve us, and it just falls away from us, and we just end up with like a real duff signing. But I feel like this one, he's going to smash it for us. You know, you look at that team now, there's no way we're going to be down the bottom. There's no way we're going to be scratching for a relegation battle, fighting for points like we were last year. I feel like we're going to have too much quality now. And another area which I feel like looks quite good now is actually the bench is starting to come together quite nicely. You know, so if Hourihan's out, you've got Barkley will be coming in, vice versa. We've now got Trez and Traore. I think Trez has done really good so far defensively. He seems to be adapting to the way we want to play, and he sort of stifles the opposition. So I feel like Trez has been really good so far as well this season and to the back end of last season. Traore on the bench as well, coming in, swapping, interlinking. Kiernan Davis coming on. One area I feel like I'd love us to just make one more signing would be a striker. I think a striker that's just going to allow us to be quite comfortable. I think what we don't want is last season where we had Wesley and Davis there and we were playing El Ghazi up front. We can't have that because it would just hinder us too much. So I'd like to see a striker coming in, and I feel like that would be me done with this window. It would be a very good window. Dean Smith's done his business. He's got the right players in, and I'm absolutely buzzing and can't wait for this season, you know, to keep going and watch us play this season. Really exciting. So let's bring in Justin. I'm going to hear what Justin thinks of Ross Barkley coming in, and also how he sees the team adapting and what he thinks the lineup's going to be. So we'll bring him in now. Justin, how are you?
Very good, mate. Big day today. Big signing.
Huge. So, how you feeling? Ross Barkley through the door?
Chuffed, absolutely. I mean, it reminds me of the old days when you didn't know anything about anything until it just dropped, and it was a bit of a shock this morning. I know we've been linked with him quite a bit over the last week or so, and I've seen his odds tumbling, but for it to be done like that and everybody just sort of taken aback when it suddenly gets announced, it's such a refreshing way to do transfers. And what a great signing. When the Loftus-Cheek and Barkley link sort of emerged, there's lots of debate. Which one would you rather have? And I think the more technically gifted player is Barkley, and probably the one that's got more experience as well. And I was looking at his stats, and well over 200 games now in the Premier League. He's played plenty of times for England. I think about 60 games, 30 odd games, is it? 60 odd, whatever. He's plenty of games for England anyway, so he's got a good pedigree. Like many players over the years, has got the move to a top four club and lost his way, because they just don't sort of sit tight today. Top teams, they just keep buying and buying and buying. So if you're not up to it, you sort of get left behind. And he's found himself out the side a lot. So for him, I think it's a very good move, especially with the Euros coming up. And we were looking, I think, with everything we've done this summer, we were looking at being greedy and getting 2, possibly 3 more in, but the midfield signing seemed to be very, very on the list with Dean. And I see a few people sort of questioning the loan part of the deal, and I don't see it as a problem, to be honest. I think if you use it sensibly, like we are doing, we're not going out and smashing 5 or 6 loan players. We've done a lot of good business. There's a player there that's available. We can have him for the whole season. He gets a chance to come in, play with the likes of Jack, who I'm sure he knows, bed himself into the club, and if it all goes really well, which we hope it does, then he probably won't want to go back to Chelsea. That's the way I look at it. If he reignites his England career, which is what he's coming to do, and he has a fantastic season, then I think that the long term aspect of it, hopefully, he'll still be at Villa. That's how I see it. It's a no brainer, really.
I think you've summarised that perfectly. To be fair, top stuff. So I'm going to put on the screen now a projected lineup, the projected team. How do you look at that now?
Yeah, again, I think we've all sort of been looking at where we want the team to finish up after the transfer window ended, and it was all coming together really nicely. And I've said a few times on the pod, where does Jack fit in? Left or centre? And so he's brought Barkley in as a predominantly a centre midfielder, whether it's slightly holding or he can get forward, he does score goals. And I sort of see Luiz holding with Barkley and McGinn sort of making up the 3 in the midfield, with Jack left, Traore once he's up to speed sort of on the right, and then your Watkins is your focal point. But I think what Dean wants and what he's going to get with Barkley, who you would like to think he's on the very similar level to Jack, is players that can interchange. So Jack won't be sort of stuck out on the left all the time. He'll have a player there that if he does sort of float into the middle, Barkley can take up a position on the left as well, and vice versa. Traore is quite adept at going left or right as well. McGinn's got a great engine, as we know. Luiz will just sit in. So on paper, I know we don't play on paper, it looks a really, really good 11. I think I put it on Twitter earlier. It just looks that. Just looking at that 11, you just can't help but be excited about it going forward. You really can't. It's got so much potential. If we can just get things clicking and they all sort of gel together. I mean, we've had a decent start to the season, so he's coming into a squad and a team that's got a bit of confidence as well, which will help him as well.
You're right. I just think it looks dynamic as well. It just looks so good. I know a team's not ever played on paper and they've got to do the job, but I think what's been great is Dean has addressed the areas that need to be addressed, and we've brought in the quality that's needed. So I think we're going to do really good from now on. I feel like we just need to be looking up that table. So thanks everybody for watching. Just more like a bonus episode today, just our initial reaction to Barkley. So up the Villa. Thanks, Justin.
Up the Villa.